So the Shaykh says this is something that can be experienced in each and every time and place. وَقَدْ اغْتَرَّ بَعْضُ النَّاسِ بِأَنفُسِهِمْ مِنْ كِبَارِ النَّاسِ فَوَقَعُوا فِي هُوَّةِ الْبِدَعِ مَعَ الْأَسَفِ الشَّدِيدِ. And there are some of the elders, or the best of the people, or the most knowledgeable of the people perhaps, and because they were impressed with themselves, they landed in a pit of innovation. مع الأسف الشديد, sadly to note. ولا نريد أن نسمي هم معروفون عند طلاب العلم. We don't wish to mention names, but they are well known to the students of knowledge. We witness that in the West. We witness the one who mixes with each and every person.
I've sat with Sufi scholars, Shiite scholars. I sat with those of the Ahl-Sunnah wal Jama'ah, the so-called Sunnis and Sufis of all tariqas even. And I took benefit where I could take benefit.
And he may even brag about how he's so open and how he loves the Muslims and he wishes to mix with each and every person. You may find him saying, I've met and mixed with Sufis and Shiite and Sunnis of all kind. He's bragging as if to say, this is how open I am and how much I don't discriminate. And then you find him, look at his teachings, look at his beliefs. He's got a mixture of every type of innovation. He's got some tashayyu, he's got something he gained from the people, the Iranian Rawafid. He's got something in there.
Large groups of Muslims. There's a group called Sunnis, a group called Shiites. Shiites are mostly in Lebanon, Iraq, and Iran. And then the Sunnis are pretty much in the rest of the Muslim world. And there have been times throughout history where there's been some confrontation. But I assure you, they have exactly the same book. There's no difference.
You find him making statements like the statements of Yusuf Estes, that the Shia have the same Quran as the Muslims, and there's no difference between the Quran with the Muslims and the Quran with the Shia. While in reality, the Shia believe the Quran that we have is 1/3 of the complete Quran, subhanallah. And they say what? That the Shia don't curse and don't have any problems with the companions. And they say that the Shia this and that, as if there is no difference between a Sunni and a Shi'i. Because why? We sat with the Shia and we listened to their defense of themselves. We listened to their speech to cover their innovations. And all of a sudden now we become people who defend the Shia, subhanallah. And then a person like Yusuf Estes, who's here and you need to be warned against him, he's in Columbus, right? He says that a person who calls himself Sunni is wrong. Because why? The Qur'ani only takes Qur'an, he doesn't follow the Sunnah. So the Sunni, he only takes Sunnah and he doesn't follow the Qur'an. And so it's not allowed to call yourself a Sunni. Is it allowed to call yourself a Shi'i? Yes, of course, it's allowed to call yourself a Shi'i. Because Shia Ali, these are the people who, they are the friends and protectors and supporters of Ali. So the word Shi'i is founded, no problem. The word Sunni is a problem. The word Sunni, you can't call yourself a Sunni. It causes division. Subhanallah. Look at the influence of sitting with the people of innovation.
Where did you get the name Sunni? Where did you get it? You don't know, do you? You don't know who gave it to you, do you? But yet you say it. Is that amazing? You have no problem. I'm a Sunni. Oh, really? Where did it come from? Does it come from Sunnah? Are you sure? Does that mean then that you only follow Sunnah, you don't follow the Quran? Huh?
So some people said, well, you have to be a Sunni Muslim. I said, okay, I'll be a Sunni Muslim.
Okay.
But then I found that, all right, why I'm just saying Sunni, does it mean I only take the Sunnah? What about the Quran?
Right.
But when they ask me, again, I'll mention when I come back to the country, they'll ask me, are you a Sunni? I say, no, I am not. Why? Well, I'm not going to leave out the Quran. I follow the Quran and the Sunnah. Anybody here only follows Sunnah? Duh.
What I'm trying to tell you is that, look, I understand there is a big difference to us between some Shiite and some non-Shiite. But before you go any further, I want to know how come you thought you were called Sunnis. I want to know why you thought you were called Sunnis. Where did you get Sunni from? Shiite, I know where they got it from. It's Shi'i Ali. It means the supporters of Ali. Yes or no? Yeah, that's what it means.
Quran is not really meaning a book in the sense that this book here, but rather the book that's with Allah.
You can't hold Quran in your hand because it means recitation.
Quran, the speech of Allah, the recitation is with us presently, not in a written format.
And it is not Quran unless it's being recited.
The Quran is not a piece of paper. It's not something that's written down.
You cannot hold Quran in your hand because you can't hold a recitation.
Quran written on paper is similar to the money that we pass around every day.
It's not Quran. You can't hold Quran in your hand.
Quran is not a physical book that you hold in your hand.
Then a person will say, I sit with everyone, I sit with all of the people. And then he comes and he says, what we have in front of us, the Quran, this is not the real Quran. The Mus'haf here, this is not the Quran. The real Quran is in the heavens preserved. This is just the writing of the Quran. It's not the Quran itself. Ahlul Sunnah of old, they would say anyone who speaks like this is a Jahmi outside of Islam. The Quran is what is memorized in the chests. The Quran is what is written in the Mus'hafs. And the Quran is what is recited upon the tongues. All of that is the Quran. The Quran is one Quran. It is the speech of Allah. It is not a created thing. Anyone who says that there are two Qurans, one Quran in the heavens and another representation of it, what do they say? There is a representation of what's in the heavens with us. It's not the Quran itself. It is only a representation of the Quran that is with Allah. They said these people are outside of Islam, and yet we find the people mixing with everyone. This is the choice. This is their choice aqeedah that they wish to defend and propagate in violation of a basic belief about the book of Allah Ta'ala. And you find them mixing with each and every person, mixing with modernists to the point that they say that the religion of Islam is not tolerant in any way at all. And Allah Himself is not tolerant at all. Zero. Describing Allah in terms of tolerance as zero. Zero. Allahul Musta'an. And then when you ask the people in the same ranks of such people, like the question was posed to one of the favorite supporters of Yusuf Estes, Asim Hakim, what about a person who says that Allah has zero tolerance? And they describe Allah with zero tolerance, meaning that He does not forgive certain things, shirk and so on. He said such a person is a disbeliever. And it was not said to him who said it. It said that such a person who makes a statement is an apostate. He is outside of Islam. Yet will he apply it? Yet will he warn against the mistakes of his sidekick and co-star on television? That remains to be seen. Wallahu al-musta'an. So do not sit with the people of innovation, lest you land in this kind of situation, where you have a statement from the Shia, a statement from the Jahmis, a statement from the Sufis. You have a position that matches each and every person of innovation that you sat with because they slipped it in where you didn't even know. The ulama of the past, the firmly grounded scholars of the past, as we're going to see from the words of our Shaykh here, they did not allow themselves to be in the presence of people who would mention doubtful matters and points of confusion, even though they were firmly grounded scholars. Why would a person subject himself to someone's confusion in the religion and listen to someone babble about the book of Allah or the sunnah of the Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam without guidance and without knowledge? Subhanallah. Ask Allah Azza wa Jal for sincerity and stability.